So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show, and we're going to talk next about real estate technology. We talk a lot on the show about drones, and we've talked about the Matterport 3D tours that we do that showcase the kind of a 3D tour of a home. Talk about the the streamlined video that we take of every listing. So there's a lot of real estate tech that's coming out that's really changing things, and there's just so much innovation going on right now, and one of the newest innovations is robots building homes. And it's interesting because, if you look at, the major, economy, or not economies, the major industries out there, robots have a major play in most of the automotive industry, for example, the clothing industry, you name it. If it's a big industry, they are their technology is coming in, robots are coming out. Heck, McDonald's. Look, you go up and order. They don't call it a robot, but you're ordering from a screen. It's technology. It's stuff behind you is being made robotically. It's just the reality of it. But it hasn't penetrated into real estate much. Construction has still continued to be a man-made thing, especially with some of the customizations and things like that. But now it appears there are some companies starting to invest into robotic construction of homes, and the 3D homes that are out there that are being generated, or not 3D, but the
3D printers.
The 3D printers, so there's so much changing in real estate right now, and I have to tell you, I think that it would be amazing if a company came along and streamlined the new construction building process. And in a lot of the cookie cutter communities where so many of the homes are alike, I believe they could be done robotically, and quite honestly, probably for less once they start streamlining it. And for some reason, you've got labor boards and union. You've got a lot of reasons why it's been pushed back against. But we're in a situation right now where we have such a shortage of labor and a shortage of homes. How else do you create more homes? You can't. So. The robot thing seems to make a lot of sense to streamline some of that, to improve the labor shortage, to improve the housing market. There's just a lot of good that I can see. It's going to be expensive to go through it, and it won't be perfect, but I can see a lot of the construction process being able to be, robotic.
I'd be all for it too if it helps with, the construction turn times. There's a lot right now where it's taking 8 to 12 months
I'm
just
a
to get
perfect
the home
example.
built.
I got, I'm a year,
Right, exactly,
so it's not to throw my builder under the bus or anything, but it's a custom home, so it's not like, it's not his fault. But the reality is that, that could turn it around. If parts of the process could be, used with technology and robots, imagine the efficiency of that,
Right.
And you'll certainly hear people say, oh, then we're going to lose jobs, and not really, because you got to have people make the robots, you got to have people manage them. I don't believe it to be that drastic of a change in, from a labor perspective, because then you have to have an industry surrounding that. But it's not been done in housing. It's interesting. Houses are a lot more expensive than cars, and a lot of our neighborhoods can be just as cookie cutter and simple, but it just hasn't translated into the real estate market.
I'd be interested to see that process and kind of watch how it would all work. It would definitely be different to watch.
There's some videos out there of them 3D printing houses. They're not doing it, on any large scale. I think the video I saw, they were in Africa trying to 3D print homes, and they were doing it, and plus, the thing I think about is the renewable resources that can be used. Maybe you could make a house out of plastic or something like that.
Think about laying bricks, for example.
Right.
It doesn't take. It's not like scientific. It doesn't. It's pretty standard. You kind of line it all up and it's math. Here, and you know that they have to go this many inches, and that's something that could easily be robotic. Now, could installing a kitchen, so there's parts of it that are going to take a human eye, but bricklaying, pouring a foundation, there's so many things that could be, robotic, and if it means turning houses quicker, if it means improving that, if it means more industry, and quite honestly, if it means, innovation, can the process be improved? And I think with new construction, you're still talking about a man-made product, and it can always be improved. It's never perfect, and it does surprise me that it hasn't you know, that hasn't taken off more, especially knowing how the auto manufacturers, you know, and granted, auto manufacturers, you know, you get a few options and everything, you know, the same car is rebuilt thousands and thousands of times. It isn't the same thing with a house, but it could be.
Yeah, I could see where that would work, where you're talking about, you know, there's a lot of, for a lack of a better word, track builders. They build the same exact house.
Right.
You know, 40 times over. in the
Or
same
they have
neighborhood.
3 or 4 floor plans
Right.
in a community, and the majority of that, you know, not obviously paint colors and, you know, there's still some personalization, but the majority, you know, 80% of that house is the same
Right.
as the other floor plans. The majority of it could be built in that kind of a process. So it's really going to be interesting. You know, I think there's no doubt we're going to see more and more of it. You see it in other industries, and it just hasn't translated into the housing market. And I think especially part of the reason I think you see it not translated into the housing market is because you know, it's very cyclical. And, you know, when it's down, people don't want to invest in technologies like that. When it's up, they do. And some of the stuff has caught steam before, and then the market crashes, and then it all kind of goes away. So if the market continues to not be as cyclical, I think it's a lot more likely where you could see something like that taking off and having enough of a runway where it can turn into a norm versus just being, you know, kind of a blip on the radar. So
Maybe one day it could be like, you know, like Tesla is with cars, where
Incredible.
you go into a showroom and talk to somebody and sit down and design your house on a computer, and then come back, you know, 6 months later, and there's your house.
right, exactly. Yeah, boy, 6 months, wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
That would be incredible for those new construction turn times, you know, and I'm certain, you know, we're not beating up on builders, because I'm certain they'd want to do it too. I mean, they'd want to turn houses.
Oh, yeah, the
that way.
quicker they can get
absolutely.
it built, the quicker
Or
they
they
sell
make
it.
money. you know,
Exactly.
and so